years of denial by the Turkish government, we can look to the future while never forgetting the past. This square also serves as a permanent reminder that Armenian culture is thriving here in Los Angeles, and indeed across the world as never before, and that the Armenian spirit will never be broken. Before I invite Congressman Adam Schiff as our first speaker, I would like to acknowledge a couple of really great friends from the Los Angeles Unified School District, board members Steve Zimmer and Bennett Kaiser. We have thousands of high school students marching with us today as well. And the Honorable Sergei Sarkisov, Consul General of the Republic of Armenia in Los Angeles. Welcome, Consul General. And Garo, thanks. Welcome, Garo. And now I'm very honored to invite our friend and someone who's been a leader on this cause in the U.S. Congress, and that is Congressman Adam Schiff, representing the 28th District here in Los Angeles. Congressman Schiff.
Mitch, I want to thank you very much, and I want to acknowledge the great work that you and your fellow council members have done to dedicate this square in the memory of those who were lost in the Armenian Genocide. 100 years ago, it began with the roundup of the intellectuals and the leadership in the Armenian community as people were forced out of their homes, murdered in cold blood, and it followed with mass marches into the desert in a deliberate effort to annihilate an entire people. Our ambassador at the time, Henry Morgenthau, documented this unprecedented effort to wipe out a whole race. The American people, in their generosity, came together in the formation of the Near East Relief Agency and raised what would in today's terms be more than $1 billion in relief for those affected during the genocide. But here we are 100 years later. We still cannot get our own president and our own Congress to acknowledge what America spoke so loudly about 100 years ago. And so we have so much more work to be done. Elie Wiesel, the Holocaust survivor, once said that denial of genocide is the last chapter of genocide. And so we stand here still during the final chapter of the Armenian Genocide, still 100 years later in the final chapter of the Armenian Genocide. And with this dedication today, we say we want to put a close to this chapter, we want to heal the wound, and that can only come with recognition. We ask ourselves, how is it possible that such barbarity could have existed? And yet we see it all around us. We see it today in the murder of Christians, the beheading of Christians in places like Syria and Iraq and Libya. And how ironic it is that in the place where so many Armenians lost their lives 100 years ago, still there are barbaric crimes committed against Christians. And so we must remember, and we will remember, and we will keep the memory of the victims here in our hearts. Thank you. God bless.
We have so much representation from the local, state, and federal level today. Our next speaker will be Assemblymember Mike Gatto, representing the 43rd Assembly District. I think Mike isn't here yet. So I'm very pleased to introduce Assemblymember Adrien Nazarian, representing the 46th Assembly District.
Folks, I wish we could be here as a community, joined by many other members of Los Angeles who may share different faiths, but share the same common goal and cause in saying never again. But unfortunately, not only do we have to be here to say never again, but yet still demand to get the official recognition that we deserve, that our ancestors deserve. So with that, I just want to say thank you all for being here. I want to say thank you to the city family that I used to belong to for putting this together under the leadership of Mitch O'Farrell, joined by Councilmember Paul Krikoyan and the rest of the leadership. Thank you.
Genocide, never again.
Turkey must pay. Turkey will pay. Turkey will pay. Turkey must pay. Turkey will pay.
Turkey must pay. Turkey will pay.
Turkey must pay. Turkey will pay.
Stop it happens. Turkey must pay.
Turkish youth, learn this.
İçekudum, Otsikudum, İçekudum, Türkiye'nin, aman aman, Türkiye'nin, Kanyakam, Amerikam.
Feel about Obama declining recognizing the Armenian genocide?
I'm deeply disappointed. I read his statement today, and it's very hurtful because this is a president who knows the facts of the genocide well. He spoke eloquently about it as a senator and as a candidate for president, and I hope for more. But I'm going to keep up the fight and continue to work on the president and on the Congress to have the courage to speak the word genocide.
Western Armenia. Before our youth, there were our parents. Before our parents, came our grandparents.